Hi, how are you? My name is Angel. Today's video is very, very highly requested. You guys will not let me rest. I post anything. Where is Seduce and Destroy? I post anything on Instagram. Where is Seduce and Destroy? My DMs. Where is Seduce and Destroy? It's fine. I'm here. We're doing Seduce and Destroy. Let's be calm. The reason why this video has not been able to go up is I filmed it twice already before. Once immediately when you guys suggested, can I do it? And then once another 3 weeks ago. And both times it got inordinately long. I get really carried away with fragrance, and I had picked so many to speak about that it was really impractical, because there's going to be some backstory in this video, so I'll maybe have to put some timestamps to let you know where, if you just want to head to the action, you're not really interested in my story, it's fine. But let me talk to my people, okay? You guys know that typically my style in fragrance is either Marilyn or Jackie. My Jackies are very pristine, put together, elegant florals. The first thing that you would say about those fragrances is probably that they're very polished, they're very elegant. And then my Marilyns are scandalous and problematic, okay? I'm here to be a problem, it is what it is. So I did have very many fragrances that I wanted to talk to in the Seduce and Destroy context. I have had to cull that list significantly just to be able to do a video, because like the first time I recorded it, I think we were in excess of an hour and 17 minutes, and even I don't have the time to sit and edit a video that long. No. The second time I think we came just shy of an hour, which is better but still not fantastic. This time I'm going to try and keep it under 30 minutes because I only have 5. Now, because I only have 5, I do need to do quite a long preface so you know what's going on. One, I think that fragrance in and of itself is a very sensual thing. The act of applying fragrance, the aura that creates is a very sensual thing. So most fragrances, I'll say, are pretty sexy. Okay, fragrance as an idea is pretty sexy. I think a good scent and a good voice are key components in being a seductress, and just in general, having on a fragrance, even if that fragrance is La Vie est Belle, is pretty sensual. I don't need to throw shade at La Vie est Belle, it's just easy. Secondly, petty. Secondly, I do feel that seduction is a factor of both how the seducer feels about themselves and the seduced feels about the seducer. So, and to contextualize that, it's all of the fragrances I'm going to speak about make me feel sexy and powerful, and I think that aids them in being perceived as sexy or sensual by my victims. I already love this video. So these are fragrances that feel for me as sexy and therefore will be perceived as sexy, because even my demeanor will then, as a factor of that, be a bit more problematic. And thirdly, there are fragrances that you guys know that I think are sexy that may not appear in this list, simply because I had to cut it down, okay? I will tend to say whether I feel a fragrance is this or that in my various review videos, and I encourage you to watch those. You will notice the conspicuous absence of fragrances from the house of Tom Ford. I just think that Tom Ford is a given. It's really hard to go wrong with Tom Ford for a sexy fragrance. Noir de Noir, Tobacco Vanille, Oud Wood, Noble Femme, Black Orchid, Velvet Orchid in a different way. All, I think, quite sexy fragrances. I felt that it would just be redundant to come and talk about Tom Ford. I already have a video about Tom Ford, all my Tom Ford fragrances. I will put that in the info card, so you can go and watch that. I just felt it was getting very redundant. The first time I made the video, I spent 40 minutes talking about Tom Ford alone. So it's really impractical to believe that I'll talk about Tom Ford fragrances in terms of sexiness and be able to make time to talk about other fragrances as well. So one, just consider Tom Ford a go-to. Just start there. It is what it is. Go see that video. But these are a selection I thought will really run the gamut in terms of type and vibe. I had to do it. I had to cull. Of course, I say all that and then yammer on for 5 minutes talking about absolutely nothing, because why not? Okay, let's get into this list. I'm exhausting myself, Angel. Just shut up. So the first one I'm going to bring up is from the house of Chanel. You guys know that typically when I'm going to be talking about fragrances, I like to start with Chanel because Chanel is my favorite fragrance house. This, I think, is the sexiest in the lot that I own. I own almost the entire mainstream line from Chanel, and this, I think, is the absolute sexiness, the absolute sexiness, the absolute sexiest, undisputable, reigning champ, Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum Intense. This is currently my signature fragrance. I think this is a very good everyday sexy. It is a velvety rose. It's a red, I would say maybe dark red velvety roses sitting on a nice earthy patchouli base. You have a little bit of vanilla, but not nearly as much vanilla as the plain Eau de Parfum version of this. Also not as much citrus. So it's largely a darker rose fragrance. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love it for everyday sexiness, very effortless sexiness. It's good for a signature because I think it can do most things. It can do an office, it can do a date, it can do drinks with the girls, and you still feel like a sexy woman. It's very all-rounded. It doesn't really skew too far down any path other than quite a sensual, refined fragrance. So it's one of those, again, in the style of Chanel, quite a polished, elegant fragrance, but with a nice kick of sexiness that comes from the woodiness and the earthiness, as well as the darkness of the roses. I absolutely love this. I think it's very much in my style of sexiness. And again, I should probably have said that sexiness comes in many different ways. I think mine is a bit more voluptuous, bodacious, Jessica Rabbit maybe, and some women are sexy in a more Betty Boop kind of way. Some women are more Lolita. Some women are more, you know, like dainty damsel in distress. I'm you know, and I don't have to speak for those women. I only speak for me. This does very well at the Jessica Rabbit, probably going to ruin your life, sexiness in an everyday way. I actually think this would be a good everyday fragrance for Jessica Rabbit. Alternatives to this, in terms of the vibe, not necessarily the scent, that they smell exactly the same, but everyday sexiness in that overt Jessica Rabbit way. Givenchy Haute Couture is a good alternative. I think Roses Vanille by Mancera, good alternative without the woodiness. So it's a nice, sweet, sexy, deep rose without the woodiness of the patchouli if you struggle with patchouli. And if you're more on a budget, I think a similar vibe to this fragrance is Live by JLo. I have a friend that wears that fragrance, and every time I smell her, I'm like, that. The vibe is very everyday sexy. Actually, it's everyday sexy in, forget Jessica Rabbit, Mad Men, Joan from Mad Men, like that. Okay, another one we've spoken about ad infinitum on this channel is Dior Addict, Eau de Parfum. The first time I spoke about this fragrance, a number of you guys ran out and got it and then came back and reported that she delivered. This is no joke, okay? Very very powerful, in charge sexiness, good for a woman in a boardroom, I'd say. That woman from Suits, I always forget her name because I don't really watch that show, but the lady from Suits, I always have to put a picture in a video. She, that kind of sexiness, very in charge, dominatrixy kind of sexiness. This is absolutely beautiful. Gets the job done. This is probably the one you want to put on when you're trying to convince hubby to buy you a goddamn house. This is get her done. Okay, get her done. Okay, let's describe it. It's It's a nice, mature, rich white floral with, again, a nice woody patchouli base. It has some very dark vanilla that doesn't smell like vanilla. I know it's vanilla, but it doesn't smell like, again, you guys know I hate a vanilla that smells like a cupcake. Ugh. It's a good, nice, dark vanilla bean type of fragrance, very Madagascan vanilla bean type of vanilla, with white florals and a nice green woodiness in the base. And the green has a bit of a kick to it, and I think that's what gives me that nice dominatrixy kind of vibe. Yeah, she will hurt you. She will take you for everything you got. It's probably one of those fragrances that does a good long con. You're trying to marry well. Secure the bag. Okay, this gets things done. Also very memorable. It's a kind of fragrance you put on and then you put it on a couple weeks later and he will remember the first time that you had this on. Yeah, this is a problem. I know you can tell I've put that to, I would say, quite good use in about 2 years of owning it. Yeah, this is a good one. Powerful, very powerful, sexy. She calls the shots. Okay. Marc Jacobs, not really a fragrance house that I have a lot of respect for. You guys know I think Daisy by Marc Jacobs is the Emperor's New Clothes. It smells like nothing. Stop pretending. Again, it's just very easy to take gratuitous shots at some of these fragrances just for nothing, for sport. But Marc Jacobs Decadence, this is something to write home about. This is something for the books. Okay, very all right now, very good for out. Nighttime, very much a nighttime fragrance. I would not put this on in the day. It would get very thick and muggy and therefore tacky. You'd never want, it's very difficult for a fragrance to be enjoyable when it's too much, like when the circumstances cause it to be too much. For instance, a sharp white floral will not be enjoyable in very, very cold weather because it can start to prickle, can get a bit prickly and then uncomfortable to smell. Similarly, a very deep, intense fragrance would not be very enjoyable in the heat because the heat will amplify it and then everyone around you is kind of choking and just trying to stay alive. Very hard to be sexy under those circumstances. This, I don't think, is very good for daytime, but very good for warm evenings or evenings out where you're going to be around a lot of people and therefore you get warmer. It blooms in the heat, but not like high heat, high noon, you know. This is very good for bars and clubs and parties and stuff. Very distinctive. It cuts through everyone else's fragrance. It kind of gets everyone else's fragrance to shut the hell up and will take over at least your table. It's a plummy fragrance. Smells like plum wine. If you've had plum wine, this smells like plum wine tastes. Quite smooth, quite deep but quite smooth. It goes down the throat easier than like a Merlot. This is a smoother, boozy fragrance. Kind of sweet but in a winey way, so in a smooth way. Overall, it's quite a nice boozy fragrance. It's good for, you're going to be out, there's going to be drinks. You might want to take advantage of someone. Or be taken advantage of, who knows. Yeah, it's good for commanding a room when there's probably going to be a lot of people wearing fragrance around you and they're warm as well. That takes center stage. Unforgettable, that fragrance. If you wear it well, unforgettable. You wear it badly, unforgettable for the wrong reasons, okay? Good alternatives to that for wearing at night at a club. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. They don't smell at all similar, but Tobacco Vanille behaves the same way. It really will command the room. Unforgettable, unmistakable, and distinctive. Very, very difficult to ignore. Jean Paul Gaultier Classique Intense is another one that will do very well if you had like a drinks date and you're going out for drinks and maybe you're just with this one person, but there's probably a lot of fragrance in the air around you because everyone else is out for drinks and has some fragrance on. Jean Paul Gaultier Classique is a good alternative to that as well. And then there's a fragrance that I wore in uni. The budget was strict. I didn't have a lot to play with. It's by Elizabeth Taylor. It's called Black Pearls. Very, very affordable as far as I remember, and it has the same effect. Sexy, very good for evenings, good for first dates, because it's unmistakable. You leave the table and you get up, and he's really happy when you get back because he gets to sit in that cloud again. Gorgeous. All right. This is a fragrance by Mademoiselle. It's called Velvet Vanilla. This is gorgeous. A very smooth, intoxicating white floral. It's pretty sweet for white floral. A bit honeyed, a lot honeyed. Sweet without being sugary, and then nice, beautiful white floral. There's something about it that kind of smells like if you put whipped cream on like a nighttime jasmine. I don't know. It's quite a sweet floral. Very, again, quite a distinctive one. I think this does very well for a date night. Generally, sweet white florals do very, very well, I think, on a date night, because as you wear them, they get a little bit more sensual. Something that I like to do, and this is a nice little tip that I'm going to throw in here, is to so get a cotton ball, drench it in fragrance, and then tuck that into my bra. Then every time you shift or move, fragrance kind of gets pushed up through your, like the, what's this called? Your neckline, the neckline of your clothing, and it comes up towards like your face. So if you're leaning in to the person that you're with and you're speaking, every time you move and shift, fragrance comes out of that cotton ball, because that's your bust is one of the warmest parts of your body. So it's nice, warmed, smells like skin and fragrance, and it comes up at your, like, up that way throughout the night. A very sexy way to wear fragrance, both for you and those around you. And I also like to spray fragrance in the small of my back, right in here. If you're able to logistically get there, you can also just put it on your fingertips and then drop in the small of your back. Then every time you move, your hemline and your waistband kind of cause friction, create a bit of warmth around there, and then it pushes it up, and then you get a nice little, you feel like, oh, is that me? Yep. Maybe I'll do a video. Do you guys want to know a video about how the various ways that I wear fragrance? That could get pretty interesting. Let me know. This is one of those. It does very well. It develops very well on skin, especially. It smells very good on warm skin. So if you're getting interested and excited, the better it gets. Very, very, very beautiful fragrance. Alternatives to that would be Girl of Now by Elie Saab. Beautiful, a bit sweeter. If you like your fragrances quite sweet, then you'll probably prefer Girl of Now to this one. Also Michael Kors is a really good warm white floral. That one is less sweet. So if you wouldn't like any sweetness, you'd like a bit more of a crisper white floral, but in the same vein, Michael Kors is a good alternative. Oh, and then for a cheapie, there's a Gardenia fragrance by Jovan. I think it's just called Gardenia. It's a cheapie. If you can get it, does beautifully. Nice, rich white floral. Those Jovan fragrances are very cheap, but they always smell so good. I don't know how they do it. You cannot smell the cheapness in those fragrances. I don't know how they do that. Finally, and this I've been enjoying a great deal in the past few weeks. This is Tonka Imperial by Guerlain. Bombshell. Okay, this is sexy, like a sexy cartoon. You know how the sexy character in a cartoon is an exaggerated version of a woman, just voluptuous boobs, waist, hips, just one of the. It's like a caricature of a bombshell or a vixen-y type woman. Dangerous. She's likely to seduce. It's very, actually, the best way to describe this is she seduces to destroy. It's a sweet, woody, earthy, smoky fragrance. That smokiness is what I think creates the danger. This is the kind of thing you want to wear to make people regret things. So you want to wear this around anyone that has ever taken you for granted, anyone that didn't know how sexy you were. This is for punishing them. Okay, it's the kind of fragrance good for look, don't touch. Yeah, look, don't touch, explosive, very, 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 very sexy fragrance in an intense way, but like there's a danger to it. The way the smoke is done in this fragrance, sexy, intense, dark, a sexy witch, or a sexy sorceress. You know, you probably don't want to get too close to her. She maybe has some anger issues too. I mean, maybe you guys are into that. I really for intense bombshell vibes, this is excellent. I would compare this to, in terms of the delivery, that kind of dark sexiness, it's similar to Tom Ford's Noir de Noir, Tom Ford's Noir Parfum, Jo Malone's Velvet Rose and Oud, but Jo Malone is a little bit more well behaved, probably not quite as scandalous as this is. The smoke in this might be a bit too much for some people. The kind of the extent of the darkness might be a bit too much, but if it is, Velvet Rose and Oud by Jo Malone is a good alternative to that one. So that's the 5 that I wanted to mention, the 5 that I would say for me, excluding my Tom Ford fragrances, because those are shoo-ins. Don't need it, it's redundant to talk about them. But these fragrances make me feel sexy and therefore make me probably deliver sexiness on a more amplified level than if I had maybe something a bit more pretty, a bit more clean, a bit more polished. But you can rest assured I tend to be sexy anyway. Sexiness is a vibe. Sensuality is a vibe. I think it is very much led by the person. These fragrances can very easily wear you. You could run out and get you some Dior Addict and struggle because you don't feel sexy yourself. It starts on the inside. I don't mean to preach, but I feel like I do need to say that. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I love you. I mean it. Go forth and conquer. Bye.